Maxwell, today we are joined by icons of the metalcore / crapcore scene, almost.
Yeah, good, thanks, Sam. How are you? I'm glad we're just getting straight into it. We are joined by some legends of the game, though, Sam. The Devil Wears Prada.
No need to undermine me there. I feel bad. Maxwell, how's your weekend?
Great, thanks, Sam. Well,
it's a
Friday, so I'm assuming it's good. I'm looking good.
0 from 2. Jesus, wept.
Apologies to Jeremy and Mike who have clicked this episode to just go, I wonder how those two fuckheads went, and they're hearing this and they're going, yeah, badly. But yes, we were backstage at the River Stage to chat with Mike and Jeremy from the Devil Wears Prada.
We were.
They were here for the Bullet for My Valentine. Was that Bring Me tour? Nope. Bullet for My Valentine tour. And
20 years of Poison.
Yes.
All these things I hate revolve around me.
It's beautiful, Sam. It's beautiful.
That was actually taken from the show.
And yeah, we chatted about sort of, as you mentioned, you know, their history as icons of crabcore, of metalcore, of what it's like to kind of follow up those big albums and what that means for your career, and also when they're going to come and do a headline show in Australia.
It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute.
I think Stain said it best. It's been a while.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah. With a lot less ado, over to us talking to...
I think you started, so I think I just need to... Do you start or do I? I'll handball to you.
Thanks.
Good start.
Well, we are backstage at the River Stage. That's weird to say, backstage at the River Stage, but we're backstage at the River Stage with Mike and Jeremy from the Devil Wears Prada. Guys, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Howdy.
Great, thanks for having us.
That's what we'd like to hear. We'd like to start the show the same way every week by finding out what you guys are listening to. So what's been spinning in your playlists the last little while, or have you had like a tour playlist with the band? What have you been listening to?
I've been listening to the new Limp Bizkit song, Morgan Wallen, Making Love to Morgan Wallen in an elevator. And that new Thornhill stuff is really good.
Yeah.
And Sabrina Carpenter, because my wife put me onto it, so it's good.
New Sabrina Carpenter? Or
yeah, the brand
last
new
album?
one. Yeah, the brand new one. I do like it.
It's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the last one, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I was checking out a record yesterday from a band called Lord Mantis.
Oh.
Very evil metal. Turns out my buddy produced it too and whatnot, but my buddy Zach from Beartooth turned me onto it. He's got really great taste in heavy.
That's what I'd like to hear. That sounds like a good spread going on the tour.
Yeah.
It's the final night of the Bullet for My Valentine tour, the 20 years of Poison anniversary tour. That's hard to say, but it's such it's a massive bill, but it's so nostalgic at the same time. It's this crazy sort of combination of bands that, you know, were so prominent in the late 2000s and have so much legacy, but they're still releasing new music. For you guys at the shows, how do you go about balancing the late 2000s era Devil Wears Prada with the newer stuff and balancing that with fans that come from both eras?
It kind of just depends on what kind of show it is. Like here, we're not bringing 6,000, 7,000 people out to a show generally. And so it's like we're assuming that most of the people in the crowd are not going to know who we are. So we want to do we have a couple old songs and some throwbacks and stuff to get the pit going. And, our fans are loving that. But then it's actually kind of nice because they don't know who we are. We can just play a bunch of new stuff and they're like, yeah, that's awesome. And there's no, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, on the newer stuff, we have had a listen to Flowers, and it combines so many different sounds, and there were a lot of surprises in there from you guys. It's got some pop influences, it's got a lot of synth stuff, which people know you for. It feels like when you got into the studio to record the album, it's just a bit of a free swing. Let's see what we like and go for gold. Is that kind of the approach you had?
I think a lot of the pop sensibilities to our music, we've kind of not always honed in so much on, and we looked more at the riff or the heavy or the breakdown. And I think what we really focused with going into this was more building from the chorus out.
Yep.
and not half-assing chorus or bridges and verses and whatnot. I think that it's like, oh, it's the verse, you're just waiting for the chorus again, and sometimes you don't put as much effort into it. So all of that went by the wayside, and all full concentration and effort went, and just the songs got more time like driven into them than I think really anything else, as far as like coming back, reworking it, just over and over again and whatnot. I think that was the sort of the mentality that pulled more of the, again, those pop sensibilities out of the music.
And just the volume, like we wrote way more songs for this than we ever have, just because like the three of us that write the lyrics would just go out for all these writing trips and just start dumping stuff out, try and write a song every day. And so you just end up with so much stuff that's like, that one's not really working. And so you just find the best stuff, instead of like, sometimes we've made records where it's like, well, we only have a week left and we need another song. So it's time to pump one out right now.
Max is familiar with pumping one out.
It's been years, my friend. It's been years.
You're awesome.
I want to dive deep on The Silence specifically, if we could, for a second. So it's a song that it's both grounded in a sound that we know from The Devil Wears Prada, but it feels like almost like a Take On Me by a-ha kind of like influence in some of the synth and drum lines. I suppose, as you mentioned, like there's that different approach to different songs, but how do you feel in terms of what the fans expect out of you versus what you guys as artists want to venture into when you want to try something new? Like, what's that balance? And do you just say, fuck the fans, we're doing what we want to do? Or like, what's your approach?
I think that mentality kind of started with the act. Like, I think we towed, like, obviously it's easy to say that when you made With Roots Above and Branches Below into a zombie EP and it works, it's easy to say, yeah, we'll just do it again. But like, I think the act was definitely a time period where we were like, we have some other type of sounds we want to make that don't really have a lot to do with metalcore at all, and we're just going to do it and see what happens. And we ended up having a really good songs like Chemical and many of the songs on the act. And so I think that kind of gave us permission when we got to Color Decay of saying, let's just push it even further. And so now that we're here on Flowers, that song kind of started as a pretty metalcore song. The riffs weren't that great and it didn't really make sense, but the song itself was great. So we kind of just gutted it, pulled everything out of it, and John just started making this like Depeche Mode 80s kind of thing, and it just worked. And so that's kind of just confidence of saying, it's not fuck the fans at all. It's just more like we are trying to make a song in this lab that we feel like is at the top of its potential, and that's what we're going to put out. And if people like it, great. If they don't, at least there's the integrity of, we know we pushed it as far as it could go.
Yeah, 100%. Wanted to also talk about the getting a bit marketing strategy here. The release cycle for Flowers. Most bands, would come in with a 2 or 3 single run. You guys have dropped 6, and they've all been like a good little spread of the diverse sounds that are on this album. What was the strategy behind going, let's get people a good listen to this album before we drop the whole thing?
I just think that for whatever reason in metalcore and rock, it was just so foreign to release a bunch of singles leading into an album when the rest of the musical world was doing it in terms of rap and pop and whatnot. And we just have a really amazing team at the label, and our manager, Paul, that constructed these ideas and created a plan that I think has just done as much as we possibly can to get listeners back listening to the next thing, and all of that, just ramping up till the actual album drop, which feels like it's been 10 years in the making, but we're less than a month now, and there are more surprises still to come. And I think even like with the music videos, working with our buddy Wyatt and whatnot, just we've been really intentional about trying to build a universe around this album, and again, just trying to get people to come back and listen to each of those singles. And we're lucky enough to have a team that supports that.
Judging by the reaction for you guys on this tour already, it seems like the hype's you've been driving that hype, so it's working. It's working.
I'd love to know, in metal particularly, it's kind of nerd central with bands and their fascination with guitar sounds, amp tones, all of that. With you guys being so sort of in the synth world, do you guys just get in the studio and nerd out about like MIDI and keyboards and the way things sound? Like
John is such a he's like an electronic producer first. Like, he was a DJ and sort of like techno and different genres within electronic music before we brought him into the band. That was part of the reason when our old keyboard player left, we wanted him in, is we just knew he lived and breathed keyboards. And so as he started I think he came in on what, 818?
Yeah.
And so he just wanted to work with and because he likes keyboards and that electronic music so much, he just thought a lot of the stuff that people were doing sounded cheap at the time. And as an electronic fan, he was like, this is like ABCs of stuff, and I want to do stuff higher the depth. And so he's just invested so much money into analog synths and analog synth gear and really cool plugins that not everyone is using. So and it's not just for Prada. He's worked on Data Remember Records and Papa Roach Records, One OK Rock, and they'll bring him in because he just hears those textures differently. So he does nerd out big time on the guitar tones too, but yeah, I think he just wants to hear stuff that you wouldn't hear otherwise.
I do want to ask you guys a question as well. It's sort of on legacy albums, because we recently spoke to John from Balance and Composure, and we asked him about the things we think we're missing and how big that was for them, and how did it help, but how did it hinder the band? Because he said it was the best thing to ever happen to us, but at the same time it created a lot of pressure with every album we released after, because fans just keep coming back to the things we think we're missing. So for you guys, with something like with Roots Above and Branches Below, how do you sort of view that album now, nearly 7, 8 albums later? Was it sort of, do you look back on it with rose-colored glasses? Was it the magnum opus, if you will, or did it sort of hinder growth from there? How do you see it?
No, I don't think. I think, honestly, I go back to so much more. Even I saw more of a changing of the guard when we did Dead Throne.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time we didn't work with Joey Sturgis, and when we were working with Joey doing Zombie, Dear Love, Plagues, and with Roots, it was such a rinse and repeat method. That was all we knew. That was how we made albums. So I don't know. I don't get too what's the phrase? Rose tinted glasses. We last year or the year before we did Plagues, and we always swore we would never do Plagues and whatnot. But it really wasn't all that bad, and a lot of that goes to John's credit because he rearranged the songs in terms of the tuning and making them more palatable. But when we went back and did our what did we do with Roots? Did we do a 10-year tour?
Well, we did the 10-year tour, and then we also did a live stream during the pandemic.
Yeah, and doing the 10-year tour, that was a 5-week tour, and I think that was kind of where I was able to open my senses and be a little more open to the idea of doing those old things. I get conscientious about nostalgia cheapening old music, and I don't want to subject Prada to that, but at the same time, if with Roots Above is the soup du jour or whatever of the Devil Wears Prada, and that's no getting off of that for a certain listener, then what am I going to do about it? I just, the songs that are streaming best and the songs that people are hearing and losing their shit to are what's given us the privilege to open for Bullet for My Valentine in short notice in Australia to 18,000 people. So
yeah,
I'm good.
As long as they're listening to the band, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Said with a lot of enthusiasm. Before we let you go, one last question. Obviously, as you just said, 18,000 Aussie fans have come out to see you guys play. But we talked off air about how you guys are doing an 8-song set. You guys are cramming it all in. Is there a chance that we could see a Devil Wears Prada headline tour back down here down under sometime soon?
If this was an audition tape for whether we should do it, I would say absolutely. I think we really wanted to after we did a tour last year with Alpha Wolf. That was our first time back in 6 years, and it was just explosive. We couldn't believe the reaction, especially even for new stuff, which I know the legacy of Parkway and Amity and all these bands that have come out of here. It's dangerous to try and play new music in a culture like that, but it was just so electric. And so we really wanted to do a headline tour, and we're kind of working on some things. And then these guys called and we're absolutely, we'll be there. And so I think it's just punting the football down the field. We would like to do that as soon as we possibly can. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of fans out there that are screaming for it. So I think if your audition,
we need 90 minutes, bro. 8 songs is not enough. Our bodies don't like it, but
you just get warmed
people
up.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, for a vocalist, it's probably a good amount. I feel.
It sucks.
It's nice opening and doing 8 songs. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. If there's one thing we learned from Color Decay is that we can really extend a record cycle and still achieve success and really amazing support slots or headlining slots, or even like we mentioned earlier, being able to do South Africa for the first time after we put out Color Decay forever ago. So Flowers has to get its headline treatment in Australia.
Absolutely.
Hopefully just sooner than 27, but I don't know.
We won't hold you to it. Don't worry. There's no guns to heads here. It's all right. Well, keep your eyes peeled for The Devil Wears Prada's new album, Flowers, which is out everywhere on November 14th. Make sure you stream, buy, listen to it wherever you get your music. In the meantime, Mike and Jeremy, thanks so much for taking the time to chat to us today.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.